Today we're talking with Karthik Krishnan, CEO of Concentric AI, to learn how one of the company's longtime customers uses our Semantic Intelligence data security posture management solution to protect critical client and financial data. Karthik, thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here.
So Karthik, can you give us some background on the company?
The company is an asset management firm focused on growth equity with tens of billions of dollars under management. They're widely recognized for their investment strategies, and they've delivered great results for over 40 years.
So what kind of data security concerns do they have?
Primarily, it's about securing client financial data and maintaining operational security. They have a lean and mean IT staff, so efficiency is always high on their list of must-haves.
So what is their data security situation?
The company's CISO is responsible for data security. When he first met me, he told me, hey, he was sure he was going to be fined if his company was audited because he had very limited visibility into where all his critical sensitive regulated data was, much less where the risk was to the information, specifically around whether it was being shared with the wrong people. The SEC had some very strict rules around who can see what types of data, and those requirements motivated him to build better classification and governance capabilities.
Right. So what was it that attracted them to Concentric?
They had looked at other solutions in the space, had several failed initiatives, but they were just all too complex for his team. We fit the bill perfectly. Our autonomous operation reduced their staffing burden, and we could easily categorize, classify their data, help them understand where the risk was to their information, and also help remediate scenarios where critical data was in the hands of the wrong folks, and help them satisfy a lot of their compliance and audit requirements. And we've been able to help them with that.
Oh, that's great. So when you first got engaged, just tell me how they got going with the solution.
The rollout was very interesting because it opened their eyes to what data they have and how it's being used. Their CISO told me that the project started as a discovery and classification initiative, and we quickly grew to becoming their primary data security platform for a lot of their security governance needs as well.
So it sounds like they did go through a bit of a journey. What did they learn that helped them protect client and financial data?
They could, for the first time, identify sensitive content in their legacy data. That was an eye-opener for them. They were also able to develop a clear understanding of user behavior, file usage with our User 360 and File 360 capabilities. We showed them exactly who was using their data and files, regardless of where the data was sitting within their environment. They also learned that there was a lot more data flowing between functions than they expected. That helped them protect private client data without slowing down the business.
So, okay, so once they understood what they had, what was next? What did they do to improve their data security?
Their next step was to improve their data security posture. So posture management is all about understanding risk and controlling access. So they used semantic intelligence to zero in on their most significant data security threats. That's not as easy as it sounds. The company has millions of data files, most of them unstructured. Once they knew what to fix, they used our remediation capabilities to update permissions, entitlements, disable access on mission critical sensitive data, and move towards a least privileges data access governance model.
So yeah, it sounds like it worked out great for them. What were some of the factors that really mattered to them in terms of how well the solution worked?
Two main reasons. First, we gave them the ability to focus. As I said, they have terabytes of data that they needed to protect, and not many heads in their infra security team. Without good automation, they can't even get started. And second, we helped them design access policies that worked on the first try without them having to go in and create a lot of permissions and rules and policy management upfront. And that's critical to the success of the program, because customers need to know what it is that's worth protecting, and if they don't know what they have, they can't really protect it. And so making sure that they have a good handle on that is super important. Also, changing access can be very disruptive if you get it wrong. Concentric helps planning access control by showing them what will happen. That way, you won't accidentally reduce access to someone who needs it. You don't want to get a call from an angry exec 15 minutes after you've changed access to a file.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a pretty uncomfortable situation. So I've got just one final question for you. How has the company integrated Concentric into their overall security stack?
Yeah, so in their case, they're a pretty big Microsoft shop. We are a Microsoft certified technology partner. We've automated, for example, data classification, where we integrate with the Microsoft information protection stack. We're tightly integrated, and since the customer uses that pretty extensively, having an accurate and autonomous way to classify data gives them great leverage. It also simplifies the life for their end users, since they don't have to self-monitor and self-identify critical data anymore. In addition, we've helped them identify scenarios where sensitive data is at risk from being accessed inappropriately by personnel who should not have access, as well as satisfy their annual compliance audits. And they're pleased that they don't have to throw a large amount of people at this problem. They, in fact, manage this entire setup with less than a half a resource, doing what they'd like to do best, which is interpreting risk findings and taking action versus making the system operational.
Yeah, I can bet. Well, that was a really interesting to hear about how this particular company is using a Concentric to protect their financial and client data. So just want to thank you again. It's been a tremendously interesting conversation.
Thank you, Scott. No problem. It's been a pleasure.